why did this happen to me? This is not how I imagined my marriage to end up in divorce. If you have ever said or thought that, just know that I see you and I totally understand how you feel and where you're coming from, because that was my exact same thoughts and feelings when I first got divorced. But I do want you to know that it does get better, okay? It doesn't last. That does not last for long. Well, I won't say for long. I'll say it don't last. And in this video, I'm going to explain which houses in your natal chart can help you to heal emotionally and move through the 5 stages of divorce easier while helping you to give yourself more grace. Okay, so stay tuned, grab a notebook and something to write with so that you can take notes. Okay, all right. And so if you are new to me or to the channel, hello and welcome. My name is Kay Catrice and I am the Natal Chart Navigator, and I teach newly divorced women how to use their natal charts to heal and move through the 5 stages of divorce easier and with more grace. And so for those of you who are returning back to the channel, hi and welcome back. All right, so let's go ahead, let's jump into it. So when you get divorced, okay, divorce is death, okay? It is a death to your old life. It is a death to what you have built with your ex-spouse. And once the divorce is finalized, you are in a state of grieving, okay? So, you know, it's just like when somebody dies in the family, you know. Once the person is sick, you know, you kind of just go through the motions of trying to keep everything normal. And it's the same, you know, when you decide to get a divorce, whether you decide or your husband, your ex-spouse decides, it doesn't matter who decides. But once it's been decided that, you know, you're going to get divorced, okay, it's kind of that same process, right? And then you go through the actual divorce proceedings, right? And that is like the funeral, okay? And so then once the divorce proceedings are over and the divorce is finalized, you know, you've had the funeral and so everything's done, and now you're in the aftermath where the actual grieving begins, okay? And so this is a major, you know, energetic shift in your life, okay? And it leaves a void. Once you are divorced, there is a void that is left in your energetic body, okay? And so that is the part, it's that there, the void, the energetic void is where the healing starts. It's where you start the healing. You need to start the healing process, okay? The closing of the energetic void, okay? And so in your natal chart, there are specific houses that you can tap into the energy of that will help you to recalibrate your energy so that you can heal and move forward and get back in balance energetically, okay? Now, if you are new to astrology, okay, this is your first time, or you've heard about astrology but you really don't know a whole lot, here on the channel I have the Astrology Basics playlist, okay? Start there, because it gives you the basics of astrology. I'm not going to go into it in this video, but go to that playlist. It gives you all of the basics of astrology, so that you can kind of learn, get up to speed with that, okay? So In this video, I'm just going to do an overview of the houses that that you tap into you focus on for your energetic recalibration. In future videos, I will go more in depth into each of the houses so that you have a deeper understanding. Okay. Now, I came up with what I call the Natal Astrology Healing Method. Okay. And I came up with this because after I got divorced, astrology was the tool that I used to help me to energetically understand myself energetically and to get back in balance. Okay. And so after seeing how astrology helped me to understand who I was, I was like, I want to share this out with other women, so if they feel so called, they can, this is just a tool that you can use to help you to, to heal after divorce. Okay. All right. So now there are 12 houses in the natal chart, and the Natal Astrology Healing Method focuses on the houses 1, 4, 6, 8, 12, and Chiron. Okay. Now I do have my ebook from Breakup to Brilliance, the Natal Astrology Healing Method, and so in the ebook it breaks down the first 3 steps of the natal healing method, and so if you would like to get that, then you can get it. It's absolutely free. It'll be in the link in the description of this video, and also on the channel homepage. You can click the link and you can get it there. Okay, so it goes over the N, the A, and the T of natal, and it breaks that down. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead, let's jump into the meat of this video. Okay, so the first house. Okay, first house is your ascendant. It is the house of the self. It's your it represents your physical body, your appearance, your vitality, and life force. Okay, it is also your identity. So one thing that really gets shaken and rocked to your core when you get divorced is your identity. Okay, and so the first house, this is the house where you go in and you really tap into who you are at a core level. Okay, now if you have any placements in this house, then you can those placements also play a role in your identity. Now if you don't have any placements, that's fine. Either way, the first house is your identity. Okay, and so you want to start there. Start there first. Okay, then the next house in the method is in the recalibration is the 4th house. Okay, 4th house is your emotional foundations. Okay, so this is where you find your deepest emotional core and your sense of security. Okay, fourth house in astrology represents your home, your home, your family, your ancestors, your roots. Okay, and so any planets in this house will also have an effect on your emotional foundations and your sense of security. It also you have to look at the sign as well. Now, one caveat I do want to say, if you are a student of astrology, or you have some knowing of astrology, please unlearn that the 4th house is related to a particular sign. So a lot of people are taught that the 4th house is the house of Cancer. Okay, That's not true. The fourth house and the sign of Cancer, they have a lot of similar significance, okay, in them. But the fourth house is not the house of Cancer. The fourth house is the fourth house. The sign of Cancer is the sign of Cancer, okay? Now, whatever house you have on the fourth, whatever sign, you have on the fourth house is how the fourth house will be expressed energetically, okay? But it's not, the fourth house is not the house of Cancer. All right. Okay. So, fourth house, this is where you want to go to, really tap into your security. Okay. When you get divorced, your security is rocked. Your foundation is rocked. Your family is no longer your family, right? And so, fourth house is not only the house of the family that you come from, it's also the family that you create, right? And so divorce rocks that. It breaks, your family is now broken, your security is now broken. It's no longer the same, and so you may not feel as secure. And so you want to tap into this house when it comes to recalibrating how you feel secure, okay? Okay, so moving along to the sixth house. Okay, sixth house is the house of health, your daily routine, service, and your habits. Okay, this house is where you go to focus on your well-being, on your physical health, also on your self-care. Okay, it's how we care for our bodies, and it can reveal potential health concerns and habits that impact our health, and also how we approach self-care. Okay, so if you depending on the sign that's on this house, and if you have any placements in this house, it will affect how you practice self-care. And you also want to use this house when it comes to revamping how you take care of yourself, okay? And if you don't have any self-care practices, then you want to look into the signs and the placements on this house to help you to establish a self-care routine, okay? All right, next house up is the eighth house. Eighth house is the house of shared resources, okay? But it's also the house of intimacy. This is where the house of death, literal death and figuratively, okay? Rebirth and psychological depths, okay? This is where trauma is housed, okay? If there was any trauma that you experienced during your marriage, okay, eighth house is the house where you are going to go to tap into that, to help you into releasing that trauma and moving away from that trauma, okay? Depending upon the sign that's on that house, the different modalities or ways that you will tap into to release that trauma is going to vary, okay? So I have Pisces on the eighth house, and one of the ways that I used for deep healing was through music, okay? Music really was was big in my healing of hurt and trauma for me, okay? But now if you have Capricorn on that house, music may not be how you go about healing trauma, okay? So it really just depends on how you what house you have, what sign you have on that house, okay? But eighth house is the house of intimacy, death, trauma, okay? And so you're going to go to that house for that, okay? All right. Next house is the 12th house. 12th house is the house of the unconscious realm, okay? And so here is this house where we process our emotions, our fears, and unresolved patterns from the past, okay? This is also the house where you will have self-sabotaging behaviors, okay? And this is where you can go to understand yourself on a deeper level, okay? Having planets in this house can be very revealing. Not all, some planets or points work really well in this house. They really, their energies coincide really well with this house. An example of this house, of that, would be Neptune. Neptune and the 12th house they're both nebulous, and where things can be blurred. And so this is also the house of the hidden. So places, it represents places like prisons and asylums, hospitals. It's where you go to put things away, okay, away from society, okay. And so this house would be the house that you would really go in to really focus on things that happen unconsciously, because what I found is that when you get divorced, a lot of fears and things start to come up that may have been suppressed during your marriage, and now that you're no longer married, these things, they start to come up. This is also where you see like unconscious patterns. And so if you reflect back on relationships in your life, particularly romantic relationships, but it can be all relationships, but romantic relationships are normally where we see these things expressed the most. And so when you look back over your romantic relationships, it is where you can see patterns that you have had in relationships. It can help you to, because this is this house, the 4th, 8th, and 12th houses are trine houses. So when you look in your natal chart, you'll see if you have, say, Cancer on the 12th house, your 8th house is going to be Pisces, your 4th house is going to be Scorpio. Those are the same, those are water elements, okay? It's the emotional, okay? If you have Capricorn on the 12th house, then your 4th house is going to be Taurus, which means you're going to have Virgo on the 8th house. And so that's the same element of Earth. And so you can look at your 12th house and the patterns that you have on your coming up that may have, because of your 12th house, what's in your 12th house, it is going to be a direct reflection of whatever trauma you may have experienced through your 8th house, okay? And that trauma through your 8th house could have started in your 4th house when you were a child, or it could have started when you were an adult, but it more than likely started at home. Okay, so it really just depends. Now, again, when you have placements in these houses, that also adds another layer, another depth to this, and so you have to take that into account as well. Okay, and then the last piece of this is Chiron. Okay, I love Chiron. To me, when you look at Chiron in your natal chart, the symbol for Chiron, it looks like a little key, okay? And so I personally say, Chiron is the key that unlocks your natal chart, okay? And when you tap into your Chiron, it unlocks your chart. And so Chiron is the wounded healer, okay? And it is a deep-seated wound or trauma or vulnerabilities. And so when where it shows where you've had pain, but it also shows how to heal that pain. Okay, so it shows where you have pain, where you heal that pain. So if you have Chiron in the 4th house, for example, there's deep-seated trauma in your 4th house that more than likely started in childhood, and so it's a trauma that you never healed, you never worked on, and so it's deep-seated. And even once you recognize and you acknowledge that trauma and you work on it, it never goes away. It's something that you have to consciously, continuously work on, because it's a deep-seated wound. Okay, and so it's something it's like it's ingrained in you. Okay, and so you have to make the conscious effort to make sure that you are not allowing that wound to continue to grow, to get worse and fester. Okay, and so that's Chiron, and Chiron is something that, like, I truly love working with the Chironic energy, because I feel like once you start working and healing that Chironic wound, it makes any other traumas or wounds or vulnerabilities, it makes it a lot easier to deal with that, because I honestly think that Chiron is the base of all of any other trauma that you have, right? And so once you fix that it's, like I said, it's the key to unlocking your greatest self. Okay, it's the key to you emerging as your greatest self, right? Ascending into your greatest self. Okay, and so these are the 4 houses. It's 5 houses in Chiron. So these are this is what you want to focus on, and this is what the natal astrology healing method focuses on. Okay, these are the houses. Now, the whole entire natal chart is you. Okay, and it gives you insight on you, your life, and your path. But when it comes to recalibrating yourself after divorce, these are the houses and the points that you want to specifically focus on. Okay, and so this video was just an overview, just to give you of what you need to be working on as far as your as far as where you need to focus when it comes to your healing, your divorce healing, and helping you to go through the 5 stages of divorce. Okay, now if you don't know what those 5 stages are, they are acceptance. It's I think the first one is anger. It's anger. Oh man, I don't even know them off the top of my head, but I think it's anger. Anger, I believe, is the first one. And then, now they're not linear, okay, first of all, but it's anger, bargaining, depression, acceptance is the last one, and then it's oh man, it totally slipped my mind. But I have another video here on the channel where I talk about all the 5 stages of divorce. So you can check that out. Okay. But as you get into the healing method, it really helps you to move through the 5 stages easier and with grace. Okay. While giving yourself more grace. Okay. All right, and so that's what I have for this video. And so if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I so totally appreciate you. And so my intentions is to always to help you to navigate your divorce recovery with more clarity, more ease, and grace. And so if this video provided you tremendous value, then give it a like and share it out with another divorcee that could use some guidance and community while navigating her recovery. And so subscribe if you want to continue to learn how you can use the natal healing method for your divorce recovery, and if you want to be a part of the Understanding You University community. And so don't forget to check the description for additional tools and resources if you want more guidance outside of the content that I provide on this channel. Also, if you want to get your copy of the ebook, it's free, From Breakdown to Brilliance, the Natal Astrology Healing Method, then you can, the link will be in the description of the video, okay? And so until next time, remember that possibilities are endless. And if you can see it in your mind, then you can definitely hold it in your hand. And that should make you smile, because you are the only one who creates your reality. All right. See you on the next one.